Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator, and today we are taking the Longitude back out, guys, so I hope you enjoy. If you are interested in acquiring any of my Overkills tutorial guides for Microsoft Flight Simulator, please consider joining me on Patreon. Patreon subscribers level tier 2 and above have access to all of my guides, as well as any future updates and future guides that will be coming down the road. Link to Patreon can be found in the description below. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is get the flight plan created. We'll have you guys walk through everything with me today. So first thing, we are at Kilo Sierra Tango Lima, which is Lambert St. Louis International. And we are going to take it just for a quick hop over to Chicago O'Hare. We're going to come down here, find the longitude. Where is she? There she is. Make sure we set our reserve fuel for 45 minutes for IFR flights. Everything else I'm pretty much going to leave as default. We're already using the current AirAC, so not much to worry about there. Now let's go ahead and come back up to the top. I don't worry about airlines or flight number when it comes to doing the private jets. You know, just really not much of a necessity. I mean, there really isn't a necessity anytime. That's more for just your enjoyment, really, simulation purposes. We're going to hit generate flight. And I like to use the PDF preview. Okay, so let's start taking a look at some of the things. We are going up to 41,000 feet today. Carrying total fuel, where's our block fuel, of 4622 pounds. There's our route. And total payload today, 1.6. Although, again, with the private jets, I tend not to worry too much about the payload. I really don't. I don't know why. I'm more interested in flying the thing. So, let's get started. All right, so step one, we're going to load our fuel as desired here. And again, we needed 4622 is what we were looking at. So we're actually a little high on the fuel. Like I said, this is a real short flight. I'm surprised it has us going up to 41,000 feet. But at the same token, this is an aircraft that doesn't really care. Trust me, she climbs so fast. And we had 1.6 thousand pounds. We can go ahead and throw that in. There we go. All right, let's get started, guys. So we're going to come down here, clear the yokes, step on down, and we need to make sure first that our, where are you? Standby power is turned on. Then we're going to turn the left and right batteries on. Go to the overhead panel. We turn our wing lights on. Emergency lights to the armed position. Oh, not the recog. I guess that's just that, huh?
Oral warning, okay.
Let's clear those master cautions.
TAWS system test.
Now,
okay.
if you're fast, you can do all this without starting the APU. But we'll go ahead and take care of the APU just since we're here. So let's see if I remember where my buttons are. Flip that on over to start. Come back up top. Monitor the APU percentage here, currently at 30%. We'll simulate that we've gotten our clearance and our ATIS, so set our barometric pressure. Find the transponder. We're going to set it to standby. We need to set the transponder code. Oop. Why am I having a problem here? APU's at 100%. We can go ahead and turn the APU Gen on. And it helps when you hit the right box. So we'll simulate we got, I don't know, 4421 is our transponder code today. Hit enter. Transponder is set. And now let's step on into creating the flight plan. So we're going to go to procedures. Looking at SimBrief once again, you guys saw where the flight route was. We are set to depart on runway 3 left using the She-5. I have no idea what it actually is. I haven't looked it up. So select airport. We're going to start at KSTL once again. Press enter. Set the departure. find our SID. There it is. Our transition is La Boy. That works. Runway. And again, we're looking for 30 left. So throw that in there. Hit load. That part is done. You can see it already populated up here. We'll take care of the map here in a minute. On the arrival side of the fence here, we're looking at the, I hope that's Turtle. KORD for Chicago O'Hare. Okay, set the arrival. And again, that was Turtle. It's going to be down towards the bottom. There it is, Turtle 6. And Cashin, there we go, is our transition. And we're expected 27 center. There it is. And we'll hit load once again. And let's see here. We'll worry about the approach here in a little bit. Let's go to the flight plan. And let's see what we got in between our SID and star today. Wow, we actually don't have anything between there. So again, real short hop. Again, I'm really shocked they have us going so high. So that is literally it. And let's go to the map. Map settings. Let's turn some of the detail off. There we go. I like to just sort of see. I like to keep more of a minimalist MFD. Makes things a bit simpler to manage and see. And let's just make sure we don't have any weird behavior. There's Turtle. And then coming out here and landing on a 27 center. Okay, cool. So now, you know what? I think we will go ahead and load the approach. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that looks like here. So let's go to the approach here. ILS 27 center is what we're hoping for. There it is. And I do need to see what our transition is. So let me just a second. What are our options here? Oh, Vogler's the only one. Well, that makes that easy, doesn't it? All right. So go ahead and load that. And we're good to go. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and take a look at what our weights and balances will be as far, or excuse me, our trim and speed bugs. All right, to determine that, we're going to be using the Overkill's tutorial guide for the Longitude. Just like any of my other guides, got everything you need in it to calculate all of your information. Breaks down the G5000, G3000 integration. All right, there's entering the route. And let's see, what do we got here? All right, here we go. So for our takeoff, first we need to find out what our trim is going to be. In order to do that, we need to determine what our weight is. So let's check out what the total weight of the aircraft is. 29,627 pounds. Oh, you know what? I'm sorry. We also need the CG. That's what we're looking for. Sorry, 29.2 is what we're looking for. So let's go back up top. All right. So here is the CG. So 29.2. It's going to be right about here. And let's see here. 29. Yeah, right about 4.5 degrees, which is pretty typical for this aircraft. Pretty typical. Now, what I find is the easiest way to do it, because the trim unfortunately does not register here on the aircraft, is if you go to end, bring up the exterior view here. From here, we can set the trim a bit easier. Okay. I went ahead and bound those controls. So give them a tap. What I find is, so there's 4. Do it one more time. Oh, let's go back one. That should be about 4.5%. All right, so we got our trim set. And now let's go ahead and take a look at our V speeds. So once again, taking that weight that we looked at earlier, here's where we're looking. So we're looking between 28 and 32,000 pounds. So here's our V speeds right here. So let's go ahead and jump back in the aircraft here. Go to our speed bugs. And we're looking at V1 at 109 knots. Rotate is 112. V2 is 124. And FTO is always going to be 185 knots. That is the maximum takeoff speed. By 185 knots for this aircraft, you need to be off the ground. Okay, so we got that set in. All right, so we got our speed bug set. We got the transponder set. Our flight plan is entered. Our approach is set. We got our trim setting for takeoff locked in. I don't think there's anything that we are missing at this point, but since I've got the guide, let's go ahead and double check a few things. Let's come back up to the forward panel here. Last thing we do is go to the pilot side TSC or touchscreen controller. And we are going to set our nav to the CDI or to the FMS, the CDI to the FMS. That's what I wanted to say there. Minimums, we don't need to worry about that for the moment. Let's see here. I think that's about it. I don't see my wind settings up, so I'm going to go PFD. What am I looking for? It's been a while since I've done this. Or had to do this, I should say. Other? Oh, it's PFD map settings. Helps when you're in the right menu. Wind, there we go. I like option 3 is always my favorite. So we'll throw that up there. I like the synthetic terrain. All right, everything else looks pretty good here. All right, looking square, guys. All right, so the last thing that we're going to do is we're going to bring up Navigraph charts. And we're going to see what, if any, altitude restrictions we have on departure. And so again, Kilo Sierra Tango Lima. I'll go ahead and bring that up so you guys can see. Here we go. Let's go up here, hit search, open the book, take a look at our SIDS. Where is it? There it is. And do we have, all right, we just need to be above. So let's see here. Yeah, pretty much clear to navigate. I'm going to go ahead and set for 15,000 feet here. So we're going to set our initial altitude. Start locking that in. Oop, went very far, didn't I? There you go, 15,000. All right, departure heading. Find the runway. 430 left is what our departure is, if I'm not mistaken. Let me double check. Don't want to get that stuff wrong. Yep, 30 left is our departure. Finally, and our runway heading is going to be 303 degrees today. So let's lock that in. Let's go back that way. All right, let's go ahead and get the aircraft started up, guys. So to do so, at this point, we don't have to worry about pushback. We're already in a great position. We can just start taxiing out from where we are, which is always a nice start to the flight. So we're just going to make sure throttles are in the idle and cutoff position here, or idle position, I should say. Speed brakes are retract, flaps are retract. We do need to turn the fuel valves on. At this point, we're going to open up the engine start switch to the right switch, hit start or run, and hit the start button. At this point, you can see the right engine starting to cycle. Go ahead and clear the master caution. Auxiliary boost pump shows on, ignition's on, cast messages are normal. And the one thing I did absolutely forget to do is turn the anti-collision lights on, the recog lights. Let everyone know, hey, aircraft's getting ready to do something. All right, how we doing here? Close enough to not idle. I'm going to start the engines a little early. Not really supposed to, but I'm doing it. I'm cheating. So start on the left. Start switch on the left engine as well. All right, so we've got 2 engines at idle. Out of the flight director, I'm not sure even how the first one got turned on, but whatever. Okay, so at this point, we're going to go left engine reset on the generator, turn the left generator on, reset on the right, turn the generator on. Okay, and at this point, we can now close the bus ties, turn the APU gen off, come back, turn the APU off. Any anti-ice, if necessary, can now come on. Let's turn the wing, pitot static. Left and right engines, we are going very high. All right, ELT is armed. And just doing one last quick sweep. I think we're good to go, guys. So, with that in mind, let's come up top, hit that taxi light, come back down, release the parking brake. We're not going to waste any time today. Goofy things happen, we'll just take care of it in the sky. Hopefully. Adding some power. We'll set flaps and all that good jazz before takeoff. Come on, baby, turn. There we go. Kind of an interesting turn. One of my favorite parts about the Longitude is just how fast it is. I mean, this thing just screams, man. You can make some distance, like, very quick. I'm also going to set the speed over to manual. I don't want it to follow the FMS. We are going to scroll down here and set 100 and... Let's see here. What did we want? Well, actually, we will leave that at 185. So that is that FTO speed I was telling you guys about. I'll leave that for our departure. Then we'll accelerate that to 250 knots until we reach 10,000 feet. Once we do that, we'll do a speed climb, which will push her up to about 290 knots. This thing just rips it. So we're going to cross 30 right up here at Hotel. Let's watch that taxi speed. Turn, mama. Turn, mama. Turn, mama. Turn, mama. Turn, mama. Turn, mama. Nothing on approach. Let's get across quickly. All right, and then now we will taxi on Echo to the end of 30 left. Oh, come on. Come on. That's it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and set flaps 1 for takeoff here. Just verifying some controls are working. Good. Uh-oh. And while doing that, I almost missed our runway. Let's come up top. Right landing light, left landing light, pulse light. Transponder. TA. Cameras out of control. Nothing on the approach. Nothing on the runway. All right, looking good. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and power it about 40%. Verify engine stable. Auto throttle engage. And I forgot to map my toga button. So there's toga. There's toga. Helps when I push the throttles forward. She's being very weird today. What's going on? Why is my stuff not working? Past our rotation speed, past our climb speed. God, that was terrible. All those flight directors, come on. Watching for 250 knots. Don't want to get above that. I feel like the auto throttle didn't trigger. There's auto throttle.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
No, we don't need landing gear. I hit the wrong button on my HOTAS. That's why it didn't work. And why did we lose our autopilot? Come on, guys. What's going on here? You're making me nervous. She's making me really nervous. What's going on? Come on, girl. It's not a good takeoff, guys. I apologize. I need to get my stuff together. Auto throttle engage, but the autopilot won't. Which is making me very, very nervous. No, that's what I thought. I'm not sure why our autopilot won't engage. That's not good. I'm trying to stay with the flight director and mess with this while I fly. But something's goofy. Autopilot master won't engage. I'm not sure why. Come on, baby, what's going on with you? What's going on? Talk to me. Nothing, man. I don't know why she's not working, guys. It's kind of bumming me out. It's totally not. Sid has entered. Shouldn't be having any issues here. The flight plan is clearly in the FMS. Okay, weird. So I had to hit the autopilot disengage on my HOTAS. Then I was able to activate it from here. So it's like the autopilot was engaging, but yet not. I'm not sure what happened there. That is very odd. Alright, well, let's get up to altitude, see if we can still salvage this. That was crazy, dude. You know what? Cash-in is our transition, guys, onto the star. I really think 41,000 feet is a mistake. And nav mode is now working too. That is so weird. I wonder what happened. So when we took off, I have autopilot bound, the autopilot engage button, autopilot master on and off. I have it bound to my throttle. That way I don't have to reach for the mouse and turn on, right? So when we first took off and I lined up with the flight directors, I enabled it. But nothing happened, as you guys saw when I first discovered, which caused everything else to go all crazy. Flaps up, gear not being where it's supposed to, blah, blah, blah. Like nothing was going the way I was expecting it to. But I wasn't getting anything registering, and the autopilot enunciation panel wasn't changing either. And obviously nav mode wasn't working, anything like that. Even though nav mode illuminated, it wasn't actually doing anything. So I was like, you know what, I wonder if there's some sort of conflict. So I just, by sheer, troubleshooting, decided, you know what, let me hit the disengage that's also bound on my HOTAS, on my throttle. And as you guys saw, all of a sudden it worked. But I have no idea why. No idea what would have happened right there. That is very interesting. And speaking now that I've screwed myself up once again, let's switch it back to this barometric, or the standard pressure, which should have been done at 18,000 feet. I hope you guys are learning a couple of things here at the very least, because goodness gracious, this has been terrible. Inertial separator shows is on, which it shouldn't anymore if memory serves. And it's all automatic in the longitude. Just weird stuff happening today. Weird stuff. Really freaking curious, guys. Alright, well, let's start looking at the star. So we can start entering the information for our top of descent. Really kind of tripping. Let's see if we can salvage the rest of this flight without me doing anything else that's goofy. I wish I knew what happened. That was... like, the last time I flew, it was in the TBM. All those same buttons I used and worked just fine. Let's see here. What are we looking for? The turtle. Alright, so what do we got? By turtle, we need to be at 11,000 feet. So that's going to be the first one that we set. So let's come back down to the aircraft. In here. Oops. It's backspace 1. 11,000 feet. Hit enter. Go to VNAV. Enable. Top of descent already in 19 minutes. We're literally going to get up to altitude, and then it's going to be time to stop. We also need to change our airspeed over to Mach. Set that Mach to about 0.85 is what I like. Actually, never mind. It's already starting to overspeed. Yep, I saw it. Sorry. Set that down about Mach 0.78. I'm sorry. At cruise, we can run a bit faster, but you see what I mean? She climbs like a rocket. Like, the cool part is we are going to reach our altitude. You're just going to have to turn right back around and descend. Yeah, 17 minutes until top of descent at current altitude. I don't see the TOD yet, but... she screams, man. All right, so just like I said, here we are reaching our cruise altitude. So we made it. Let's see if we can bump our speed up to say... Let's see if we can get 0.84. Sometimes I can squeeze off 0.85, but it looks like it's right on the overspeed line. So we're going to push it right to the top. Mach 0.84. There's our top of descent right there, TOD listed. So we just got to sit for a minute or two, but it ain't going to be long. Let's see here. What do we got for top of descent? 4 minutes. A little under 5 minutes. You see, it's not happy with that. Let's go back to 0.83. There we go. I think the real one, you can get like 0.86, something like that. Like, you can get really close. You can really start to turn and burn in this aircraft in the real one. So, I do apologize for all the little headaches that happened there on takeoff, guys. All the information in the guide is correct. Don't feel like that's just the way I fly it. Again, that was an issue with the controls on my keybinds, so that's what caused all the chaos there. So I do apologize for that. It's never fun. Well, maybe it is. Maybe you guys found it entertaining. I don't know. All right, so let's see what we got. All right, so we got about, there we go, 3.5 minutes. I'll catch you guys as we get closer to the top of descent. All right, guys, so we are now less than a minute from top of descent. We just had the alert pop up. You can see the vertical navigation popping up here. We've set our initial target down to 11,000 feet. I got that from our star chart. You can see Turtle is our first required waypoint here, where we are locked in at 11,000. We need to be right at it according to the chart here. So we're going to do our best to make that happen here. Now 20 seconds. I have VNav enabled. We're going to see if it automatically descends the aircraft. I don't think it does. I don't think that has been fixed yet. Someone said they thought it had, and so I figured, you know what the heck, we'll test it, but we'll find out in just a few seconds here, won't we? In 1 second here. Will she descend? Nope. Okay, that answered that question. All right, so yeah, vertical speed. Let's get that vertical descent rate down. Let's also pull some speed off here. We're going to set us back to about Mach 0.72.
Landing gear.
Oops,
Landing
slowed it down too much. I'm sorry.
Landing gear. Landing gear. Landing
That shouldn't be right.
landing gear.
Should be able to slow her down a bit more than that for the descent, but all right, is what it is. All right, so from here, what we're doing is just managing the glide slope or descent slope here. We need to actually descend a bit faster to catch up with it, so I'm going to increase our descent rate. And we should see the altitude caret once it matches up with our current altitude. We'll adjust our vertical speed to match up with the targeted vertical speed. $4,200 feet per minute, those poor passengers. The things we work with. All right, it's like now. We'll wheel it back up. The idea is just to keep these two in line. All right, guys, so from here, I'll just be managing our descent, so I'll catch you guys as we get closer to the approach. All right, so we're now at 25,000 feet. I have switched our speed back into knots indicated versus Mach. We've also set our ILS frequency on the nav radio 1. So we got that all set in and laid out. The next thing we need to do is take a look at our approach speeds. So I need to bring up the information from that for our guide here, from our guide. All right, so again, checking our current weight. We're at 28,968. So 112 and 123. So go down to speed bugs. Approach speed should be 123 knots. And final reference 112. Okay. So we are all squared up here. Getting a little below the glide slope. So we'll level out a bit. I'd rather be below than above it, but either one. Like I said, very fast aircraft. This thing is just faster than snot. It's a good one to get around in, man, when you just want to get going places. I didn't try this one in St. Bart's. I don't even think that we could fly this one into St. Bart's. I think she's too big. I don't know. I could be wrong. I don't know. All right, and we're just getting ready to pass through 18,000 feet here, so in just a minute we'll set our barometric pressure. 299.8 looks like. I'm going to give it another 1,000 feet, then we're going to test it again, since I don't use ATC. Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, and we'll check it again right about 10,000 feet too, so probably when we get to 11,000 we'll go ahead and hit it again. But other than that, we're just going to continue the descent on in. All right, so we made our altitude. Now I'm going to go ahead and start slowing us down to 250 knots.
Landing gear. Landing.
No BS.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
That is not good that it wants that.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
That's interesting that it's asking for that. I don't know what that's about. It's got to be a bug with this latest release, but I mean, it went away. So I can live with that. All right, guys. So the approach mode has already been active here. We're on our way to Vogler, which is the initial waypoint for the approach. But we're going to do things a little bit differently here because we're already established on the 8,000 feet altitude for Nichols there. So we're going to let it come back a little bit, and then we're going to fly direct to Nichols, let it bring itself around. And actually, we may even be able to do that without doing that. But we're going to go ahead and slow the aircraft down to about 200 knots now.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
We're just going to ignore the landing gear warning.
Landing gear. 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 Landing gear.
He should be quiet in a minute.
Landing gear. Landing gear.
Yep, there he goes. Not sure what that's about. I'm really not. We're going to also see if we can't change over to nav 1, see if the VOR will get established. Doesn't look like it, which is fine. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to heading mode, and we're just going to navigate ourselves in here. Definitely an ILS approach today. I thought we were going to have some pretty decent weather today, but clearly not so much. And I'm going to set our altitude down. Let's see here. Touchdown zone elevation is 653 feet. Missed approach is 1,100, so let's set 1,100 feet. We'll set 1,000 feet. There we go. There's 1,100. Final approach course is 273 degrees. Let's get that locked in here. Couple minutes to the turn here, maybe a minute or so. All right, start making our turn. And again, down over to 273 degrees. Oop. Pretty good turn there. A little off course of our next track. Turned a little early, so we'll get back on track here. I don't normally fly it like this. Normally I let the FMS do everything, let the approach mode fly. Today's actually sort of trying something new. I'm going to go ahead and enable vertical speed, get us down at 1,000 feet per minute. And I'm going to reduce our speed now to 135 knots. Let's go ahead and get flaps 1 down. It was 135. Is that what our approach bug was? 123 knots. Man, every time you slow it down, landing gear alarm comes on. That's kind of annoying. Well, soon we'll have the gear down, so they'll be happy. Setting a little fast. Oh, this guy's killing me. All right, fine. We'll configure for landing gear. Gosh, that is obnoxious. I hope somebody fixes that. There we go. Now we got track on the ILS. So the aircraft should manage it from here. Let's go back into nav mode. So that kind of sucks about the landing gear alarm. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's kind of terrible. All right, we are way below the glide slope, so I'm actually going to zero out our descent. Vertical speed mode off. I'm going to go into the approach mode. Why is my other flight director off? That's weird. But approach mode active. Alright, so we are configured way early, but it was the only way to get that landing gear alarm to zip it. I'm going to increase speed just a bit here. We can go to about 140 knots comfortably. All right, so we have acquired the glide slope. The aircraft is starting to descend. So now it's just a matter of following it on in. We're sitting at just about 20 miles away. So again, configured very, very early because of that landing gear alarm, but I don't know what was going on with it. That was really interesting. But we'll make do. Let's go ahead and start arming the spoilers. Everything else should be set. Like I said, we're already configured for landing, so took care of that already, I guess. Let's double check barometric altitude. Looks like it's accurate. All lights are on. We can bring the taxi light on now. Gears down again. Super early. But that's alright. We'll just kick back and enjoy the show, I guess. Alright, so now we're close enough. I'm going to get us down to our reference speed. Now, normally I would do like +5, +3, or 5 based on the wind component, but I've noticed with the longitude, if you even at the reference speed, it still wants to fly and fly well. So I just typically bring it all the way back down. We are just about there, now at 2,400 feet. Fully configured. I think the only thing I actually forgot to set was our minimums. So it's going to be 823 feet on the barometric. And there we go. Alright, so from here, I am going to take the aircraft over and we're going to hope that everything goes well this time.
Autopilot.
Autopilot is off. Auto throttle's disengaged. I'd love to know what the wind is. I noticed my wind information never popped up on the PFD, even though we set it. Because we are getting bounced around.
500.
Continuing. Ooh, girl. Come on. Phew. Man, we're getting kicked around. Come on. Holy crap. Guys, we're getting beaten to crap here. Oh, come on, darling. What's going on? Steady, steady now. And just coming to idle. Easy, 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 easy. All right, thrust reversers out. Whew. That was interesting. That was a fight. All right, guys. Well, welcome to the end of a very interesting flight to Chicago O'Hare. That was definitely not what was planned on the books, but kept it exciting nonetheless. You know, in many ways, those goofy issues that pop up with the simulator sometimes just add a sense of if something goes wrong in the airplane while you're flying. And essentially that's what happened to us today, so it was kind of fun. It does add something to it, definitely. But as always, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Stay safe and healthy, and I will see you in the next one.